Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. We are continuing our run of all things X, and we are looking at X Factor number 34 from 1988 as we are heading toward Inferno. I have a X Factor playlist, I have an X-Men playlist, I have a New Mutants playlist, I have a Wolverine playlist, Excalibur. Take your pick. I got playlists for everyone. I also have a playlist where I put everything together in reading order, so feel free to check that out. And so we finally get to the confrontation between Archangel, who is not called Archangel yet, Death, and Commander Hodge. Beautiful cover by Walter Simonson. And so here we go. So Death is going through the right looking for his girlfriend. And he tells them, Candy Southern, tell me where you have taken her or pay the price, as he goes right through them. And so our title is Death. Louise Simonson is our writer, Walter Simonson our penciler, and Bob Wiacek our inker, Bob Harris and Tom DeFalco with the editorial. And so he is going to go through threatening them and just cutting them. I don't think that I think they're human underneath this, but he is destroying them and keeps asking, where's Candy Southern? So here we have a shrouded figure who we all know who it is. It's Commander Hodge and a bunch of demons. And Hodge says, your lover Candy Southern is here, mutant. Many stories below. A human who loved below her station, who sullied the purity of the human race by her liaison with you. She has been a subject of our right experiments, kept alive only through the ingenuity of right technology. We have sacrificed her on the altar of human knowledge. She is redeemed. I have her now, and I will see her well and truly dead before I surrender her into your filthy mutant hands. And so here she is with this apparatus here. And so Hodge continues, come find us. We are here. We are waiting. And so one of the demons says, Master sent us. Said you his allies, said we should obey you. Man on screen, winged like us, evil like us. You hate that man. And Hodge says, that is not a man, that is a mutant. And so the demons here, also hooded. It's just pretty cool. What is mutant? And so he explains the mutants here. And so he's like, these mutants are no longer human. And so just a bunch of stuff that we've all said before. Humans good, mutants bad. We need to destroy them. And so he tells the demons to go. So here they come. And so Angel is surprised and even goes, are they so evil that they are served by demons? And so now we're in Hong Kong. This is during the era where Hong Kong was part of Britain. They had not surrendered. Their lease was still there. And so Nanny is going to go get some kids. If you remember, Hodge promised to get some mutant children for Nastrit. We'll see him later. And so Nanny is getting those kids, those mutant kids, so that they are not destroyed. And so she sends Orphan Maker to go get them. And so here we are. We have a couple who are fighting, and it even says here translated from the Chinese, and a homeless dude out there. And so he's asleep, but suddenly he hears as they're arguing the shots, and then Orphan Maker leaves as he runs away, and Nanny tells him how good a job he did. And she goes, "Excellent. Now we must hurry. Demons, just imagine how very odd, but very, very fruitful. I have captured their list of mutant infants, and we will save them all." And Orphan Maker continues, "Moral lesson, Peter. Out of the greatest potential for tragedy sometimes grows the greatest good. For the systematic evil of those humans of the right enable Nanny and her Orphan Maker to continue their good work." And so we are back now with Angel or Death or Archangel. Doesn't matter. Still cutting through the right here. And Warren is like, "Warren, you had family, wealth, education, beauty. You were already Homo superior. What need had you of wings? And how I?" And so the demon, whatever, we'll Naster, we'll get his name right. And so he goes, "Worshipped him, loved him," and Cameron is like, "Loathed him and hated him. Oh, there it is, Naster. Even before he grew those accursed wings and called himself the angel." And the demon really doesn't believe he did you. "I'd hoped that I was dealing with a realist, Commander Hodge, but now I see that regrettably, you are not." So he knows the truth. And so Naster continues here, "Will it be necessary for me to withdraw my support to elicit true cooperation?" And Cameron says, "You have my cooperation, Naster, as I have yours. I have transmitted you the locations of the mutant children's that the right has marked for death, to do with as you will, while even now your demons attack he was going to say Warren, the accursed angel in my name." And Naster says, "My servants have checked those locations. Sorry. Have checked those locations, have had scant success, Commander. Infants on the list have disappeared." And Hodge says, "I had nothing to do with that. This points rather to a leak in right security, which I will see plugged. With the body of the informant, if I can find him, but surely not all the children are gone. Those in the orphanage, for instance," he says. And so Naster says, "The orphanage is filled with older children. I need infants, Commander." "Ah, infants. Yes, tell your servants to check the level below the basement. They will be there. I wouldn't cheat you, demon." And Naster says, "You nearly match me in evil, Commander. If not in wit, you could cheat me if you could. Since you, like all humans, consider other races, even we of demon race, to be inferior and subject to your will." And so Hodge is like, "Our Bible is proof of human superiority. And mutants, little mutant babies." And Hodge is like, "A violent change in nature's plans counter to the heavenly will, a betrayal of all that heaven promises. They must be destroyed." And so Naster just says, "And to this heavenly end you consort with demons?" And so Hodge looks at Angel. "Any weapon is acceptable in the fight for human purity." So anyway, we're going to continue on, and so we're going to skip that because it's just a lot of the same things. And so we're going to get what happened to Angel. Again, I have a playlist. And so during the not Follow the Mutants, the Mutant Massacre, the Angel had his wings hurt, and Hodge orchestrated to have the wings amputated because Angel was going to die if he kept the wings. And so Angel tried to commit suicide, but Apocalypse saved him. And so Apocalypse then turns him into Archangel or Death. So, all right. So that is his origin in a nutshell. And so here we go. He's fighting them. He wants to get to Candy. We're going to kind of keep going here. And so Angel is like, "I'm going to get you." And Nestor is like, it seems you have a fiend by the tail, friend Hodge, and now I will recall my servants and leave you the pleasure of killing him. And Hodge is like, but you promised me your aid, demon, in exchange for the infants and certain other concessions. And Nestor says, can you deny that you have had it, meaning his help? But I too have my own agenda, and so I must withdraw those servants who remain to check the orphanage. And if all is as you say, it will keep my promise, Commander. You will not die, and your organization will prosper. That I guarantee. So, I am going to cover in one video all 4 issues of the Exterminators, which is what this stuff is going to basically deal with, which is sort of a prequel to Inferno, or kind of happens while Inferno is setting up. And so, all right, so the demons are leaving, as Nestor says, and so all we've got now is Death or Archangel or whatever. I don't know. I still like to call him Angel, but one real quick thing that I was going to point out, if you've noticed, I have Simonson's early Thor run completed. Now, he is not inking himself in X Factor, but I think something happened in which he started doing more slashes. If you remember in Thor, he was more of an ink slinger, and he started Barry Windsor Smith. Now, this is before Jim Lee becomes Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane becomes Todd McFarlane. And although it is Bob Wiacek laying down the ink, he would have made it black if that's what Simonson would have intended with the pencils. So you're starting to see a change in the art of Simonson, more to the current Simonson, which is a lot of hatching instead. So, all right. And so he grabs this gun, which is the same color as everything else. And if you're not paying attention, you actually will miss it. So, bad on the colors. This should have been a different shade instead of colored like everything else. We get a brief interlude with Jean Grey, and Ship tells her Cyclops is leaving, and she tells him to wait, and he's like, I can't, I need to find my son. Something odd is going on at that orphanage, odd and potentially terrible. And so what is happening here is in Exterminators at number 1, which we have not covered yet, and Avengers Annual 17, which we're not really covering at this time at least. And sorry, Avengers Annual 17 is where Beast is at currently, which is part, like I said, part of the oh my goodness gracious. What is his name? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. The High Evolutionary. So anyway, so he's like so the ship is basically alone, and so Ship is like, or Scott is like, nope, gotta go. And so she's like, wait, and he's like, nope. And so she uses her telekinetic, and she says, I'm going with you, and I love you, and you love me, and you know, we're gonna make our own babies. We don't need that baby. We're gonna make our own. No kidding, she didn't say that, but we're gonna make our own babies. Leave that one alone. And so anyway, she's gonna go with him. All right, back to it would have been funny if she would have said that. So anyway, back to Hodge, and so you can see the same panel I think was recycled, even the spots here, and I think they probably used some whiteout to get this spot. No way that they drew this twice. And so here comes Angel, and he gets shot. And so basically for the rest of the issue, we're going to have a fight, and I'm not really going to read you everything here because it's a lot of exposition, a lot of stuff that we have pretty much already covered, and it's just filler so that we slow down and not really pay attention and not rush through the issue. But that is exactly what we are sort of going to do because, you know, all this, we're friends and I hate you and blah, blah, blah. And I followed you like a puppy. So, all right. So we're basically having. So finally, he gets to Candy and says, "I'm gonna kill her," and he is like he said in the beginning, she betrayed us. He kept her alive, experimented, and she's like, "You should have heard her name, her curse your name in her agony." I enjoyed watching her screams, knowing that she was yours. And so he's about to um, take this thing which keeps her mind intact. And he's like, "Oh, whatever." And he shoots him, but of course, nothing works. And so he hits the rocket launcher and hits him. But remember, he can't die, and you're gonna see how Hodge ends up turning. And so Angel runs to him, but Hodge catches him. You see him trying to choke him, and he flips him off with the wings. And we are going to. He continues to plead, but it's not going to work. He grabs it and he destroys the thing, and he yells for her. He just basically holds him down, and he uses his wings to decapitate him. But as we said, he can't die. Remember that deal. And so we are proposing that he's dead, but he is not dead. He will come back, and Angel comes to get Candy. I love this with the big thing, but the little words. And Candy Southern is dead, and so he is angry. And now here comes the right, and oh boy, are they? Is he angry? So next issue, who has Scott and Madeline's baby? Find out next issue. Go to the Orphan Maker in Furnace -1 and counting. So, X Factor 34 by Louise Simonson, Walter Simonson, with Bob Wiacek. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.